After you have put in your efforts to write your contact information and verified the info to make sure it is correct, it is now time to add it to your resume. But what is the correct way of formatting the contact information? How to include this info in the resume so that the most essential information is highlighted and remains obvious throughout the life of the resume. In this video, we will see how to format contact information in your resume. We will also see how to include this contact info in the header section of your resume so that your resume complies with the standard format and can be considered acceptable by prospective employers. Let us first try to understand the importance of formatting the contact information in your resume in a standard way. Many employers use Applicant Tracking System or ATS to track and manage the applicants who apply for the jobs. This is true for both online resume submission and even when you submit a hard copy of your resume. The ATS software works best with standard resume formats, and in many cases, it ignores colors, custom fonts, odd-shaped bullet points, and bunch of non-standard elements. To ensure that your resume gets accepted as a standard format, you need to stick to the standard procedures as much as possible. If a resume does not meet the standard format, then recruiters generally tend to ignore such resumes and focus more on the ones that do meet the standards. This may cost you the job that you were looking for. So we will look at how we can avoid this and turn the tables around so that your resume gets accepted and you gain a competitive advantage over applicants for the same job role. Now that you understand the importance of a standard resume format, let's dive into the actual resume formatting techniques. I use Microsoft Word 2016 for creating my resume and suggest you do the same. If you do not have Word 2016 installed on your system, I suggest you arrange for the same. Or if you have an earlier version of Microsoft Word installed on your device already, you can then try using it to create your resume. For the most part, you should be able to create it without any difficulty, so go ahead and try it out if that's the case. Once you are ready with Microsoft Word on your device, open up a new Word document. To make sure that your resume looks professional, you may select any font from the following list: Arial, Verdana, Times New Roman, Calibri, Cambria, Garamond, Trebuchet MS. Avoid using other fonts that are not listed here, especially custom fonts. You never know how using custom fonts might appear to your prospective employer, especially if they do not have the font installed on their system. So start by selecting Arial font or any font shown in the list and select the 12 pixels as the font size in your Word editor. Then start writing the following details, each on a separate line: your name, your location, your mobile number, your email address, your website. Including the website is optional and you are not required to include it if you don't have one or do not wish to include it. Let us look at an example of how to write the contact details. First, write down your name. For the sake of example, I'm going to write down the name as Alex George Kinhana. But I feel that the surname Kinhana might be a little hard for some people to pronounce or remember, so I'm going to specify it as an initial. So I abbreviate the name to Alex George K. If you think others are going to find it difficult to pronounce your name, you can abbreviate it similar to what I've done here, or else feel free to include your complete name. On the next line, add your location. We need to specify the city followed by the state. So I entered the location as San Antonio, Texas. On the next line, add your mobile number or cell phone number. I enter the number as 361-123-4567. If you are a resident of USA and applying for a job listing that requires you to work outside of USA, then prefix +1 to the mobile number. In my case, I would rewrite the same as +1 361 123 4567. On the next line, add your email. I will enter the email as alexgeorge.k@gmail.com. In some editors such as Microsoft Word, the email might turn instantly into a clickable hyperlink, so make sure you unlink it or remove the hyperlink so that the email remains on the screen as a plain text. On the next line, add your website if you want to share it. Entering a website is completely optional and you are not required to enter one. You may skip this step if you don't wish to include your website. For the sake of completeness of this example, I will enter the website as alexgeorgek.com. When you look at all the details entered so far, it should pretty much look like this. As always, make sure that you double check and even triple check the details just to make sure that you do not have any typos in them, especially in the mobile number and the email. If you have made it so far, that's great. Now you just need to format the information in the header section of the document and you will be done. Every resume should begin at the top of the page. All of the contact information should always go in the top portion of the resume. This top portion of the document is generally referred to as the header. Other than the contact information, no other information is added in the header. In the same page of the document, the bottom portion is typically utilized for adding page numbers and is referred to as the footer. There are three common formats of including the contact information in the header. They are left aligned, center aligned, right aligned. Let's first look at the left aligned format. Double-click in the header area of the document to open up the header in edit mode. Move all your contact information towards the top left corner of the page and place it in the header area like so. Once you have placed all the information here, make sure that you select all those lines and left align by clicking on the appropriate button or option in your text editor so that the text on all lines are neatly arranged one below the other towards the left hand side. If the information looks more or less like the one that can be seen here, then you have pretty much completed most of the formatting. Let's now look at the center aligned format for the contact information. Once you have placed all the information in the header, simply select all of the information and click the Align Center or Center button in the formatting section of your editor so that all of the information shifts towards the horizontal center of the page and they appear center aligned. That is all you need to do to make the contact info center aligned. Let's now look at the last format for the contact info, that is the right aligned format. Once you have placed all the information in the header, Simply select all of the information and click the Align Right or Appropriate button in the formatting section of your editor so that all of the information shifts towards the right hand side of the page and they appear right aligned. That is all you need to do to make the contact info right aligned. After you have made a selection from among the three formats of formatting the contact info and applied that format to the contact information, the next step in the formatting process is to select your complete name and change the font to 20 pixels and then bold it so that your name is bigger and bolder than the rest of the contact information. Once you do this successfully, the formatting of your contact details should look similar to the one shown here. If it does, then congrats! You have added your contact details to your resume and also formatted it to make it look the best. Now, one last step is to include a horizontal line just below the contact info. If you are using Word 2016, then just below the contact info, on a new line, type in 3 underscores like so and hit the Enter key on the keyboard. That should transform those underscores into a full width line. Try it out and the result should look like this. If you are on an older version of Word, then try inserting a horizontal line directly and the result should more or less look like this. If you have completed all these steps, then congratulations! You have successfully formatted and included your contact information in your resume. Now save the document with your name using underscore as the word separator and suffix the word resume at the very end of your name. For example, in my case, I'm going to save the resume as Alex underscore George underscore K underscore resume dot doc. So you get the idea. That is all what you need to do in order to include all the required contact information in the header of your resume and make it compatible with the standard format. Now go ahead and take the first step towards creating a powerful resume by adding the contact information in the header of your resume and verify the information to make sure that you have added all details correctly. That's all for now. We'll see you in the next video. If this video was helpful, please show your support by leaving a like, comment, and share the video on social media. Subscribe to the channel and tap the bell icon to receive all future updates. Thanks for watching.